Good to see you, Phrankleen. Good to see
Good
you.
to see
I
you.
just wanted to add just a couple of pence. And it was really heartbreaking, I think, as a youngster growing up, facing that rejection as a Black woman. And now it's even worse than it ever was before because, Black women are being left out. Black women are being left on the shelf. And no, going with a white man is not the answer. Let me just tell you this. When I was working in Essex, I did a study, and actually, one of the areas most prolific for domestic violence was actually in Barking and Dagenham, and most of the domestic violence was actually afflicted within the white community. So this whole preconcept of Black people being more violent is complete and utter crap. That's the first thing. Secondly, the stereotype about the Black woman, especially stereotype about Black women being aggressive and what have you, and white women being all, serene and gentle.
Yeah.
Absolute crap. Absolute crap. I can say, I went to university, I went to college, I didn't see it. I saw different types of white people. I saw the same kind of butch white girls that wanted to go and play rugby. Yeah? But no one ever talks about them. The same kind of butch white girls that want to go and do, anything to do with mechanics or construction, but no one ever talks about them. Yeah, they're always talking about Black women as though Black women have got to have an attitude problem, but white women never do, and they're seen as gentle and quiet and feminine. Absolute poppycock. Load of tosh. Right? And when you look at the women that are the most dykes in the world, what colour are they? Actually, let's talk to facts. They certainly aren't Black. I live in Africa. Here on the continent, I see more femininity. I see more women with their babies on their back, connected with their children. That is the sign of femininity. That is a sign of the woman. That is the woman that is in touch with her spirit and her soul and her husband. Here you see the role of the woman completely different to you see the role of the Western woman. So we need to redefine. Are we African women or are we Western women? As African women, we are feminine, sexy, intelligent, and fine.
Oh, yeah.
And we are just as vulnerable as any other woman. We are just as gentle as any other woman. We are just as good as mother as any other woman. And you know what? I remember growing up, right? When one of my family friends got married to this Irishman, and this Irishman ended up cutting her throat. Yeah. And so I saw the violence. I saw when their football match didn't win. I was raised in Essex among the white community. So maybe my view of the white community and their super violence is different because, there were only 3 Black girls in my whole year, in my whole, schooling in Essex. So I saw the white community at close encounters, and I don't know what anyone's saying. They're more gentle, less violent. They're the most, I'm sorry to say, the most violent, most wicked, most evil people that I've ever had the chance to encounter on the face of the planet. And if slavery is not, is not their past record, then tell me what is. If Hiroshima is not their past record, then you tell me what is. Murdering their own people during World War II, right? During the Third Reich. Tell me what is, right? We have to stop doing this, putting them on a pedestal and putting ourselves down. We are the supreme beings of the earth. We are the supreme women. We are the goddesses, and the men is our gods, right? And we have to learn to appreciate one another, work with one another. Women are under, especially Black women, are under supreme pressure right now, because of the world and the way it is. And we need our Black men to stand up for us. Because when Black men go out with white women, they change. They become turncoats. They want to reject their community, reject their family, reject their culture, and reject who they are. And that is what is happening. Juliet? And so the Black woman is being left vulnerable.
Can you hear me, Juliet? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So somebody said something earlier about, of course, I can understand, if Black women are looking at Black men, sort of like what you said, sidestepping them and, going for white women and all that, and they feel abandoned and all that. But what's the point of carrying out a retaliatory action against Black men and saying, oh, because they're going for white women, oh, I'm going to carry on I'm going to go that way as well, and date white men as well, and all that. There's this back and forth
Okay,
between us.
I
Or
don't know if
amongst
it's
us.
retaliatory. I don't think it's retaliatory. I think it's because people want to procreate. They want children. Yeah, and remember, we already have this mindset of if we go and we sleep with someone outside our race, we're going to have more beautiful babies. It's a terrible stereotype, but we have this kind of colorism, and we have this kind of self-hatred, yeah, that we carry, and so that is part of it. Also, if black men are rejecting you and you want a man and a white man is chasing you down, it's not so much as retaliation as, okay, well, someone's better than nothing. And, this is not the right attitude to have. I remember going to a Anita Baker concert, and she said, to all my sisters out there, just remember that there's still good men, good black men out there. And when she said it really hung in my mind. And I think because black men get a beating. They get a beating because they're always being perceived in the media as criminals. Black men get a beating and never seen as good fathers. Black men, the perception of black man is always as a bad man. And then the white woman that's going for the black man is always going for the bad man, going for the gangster, going for, they're not showing the doctors, the scientists. They're not showing, the operations managers. They're not showing, the man who may even working for
Can I
environmental
also
services.
say,
Yeah.
there's also these things where there's one of the things that pisses me off. There's this stereotype that, that emanated from within the white community, whereby white men are only basically reduced to their sexual prowess or the size of their genitalia, and it's like, in fact, there is evidences of, like maybe young white girls, when they start to grow of right age to start dating, there's this fantasy of they want to get with a black man because of the nonsense that's being passed around that, oh, they've got massive, genitals and all that. Oh, I want to have a taste of that. Now they use black men as sexual instruments. Sexual gratification, and then when they are done and dusted, they can bin you. And even after sucking the gratification out of you and being satisfied, if you piss them off just in a conversation, they can put their hand up and lie that you've raped them. And the system in the West is not forgiving of black men. Before you know, your life can absolutely go down the drain. That's one of the things that pisses me off, that every time, a white girl and this, you hear all this stuff. It's like they don't look at you, oh, that's a black guy who's a programmer, or that's a black guy who was trained for about a decade to become a medical doctor or an accountant. It's about, oh, he must have a third leg, the size of his arm and stuff, and what can I get from him in the bedroom department? That's what they reduce us to. Even when you meet them in the nightclubs or whatever, it's always about, oh, the mandingo is going to come out of their mouth.
Sex slavery.
Black man.
It's sex slavery. It's sex slavery. And the thing is, it is sex slavery. And not only that, what upsets me is that the black man will go and bring his income to the white woman, okay? He will live in her house. He's not on the mortgage. His name is not on the deed. Yeah. He will be with this woman for how many years? He'll have nothing to pass down. No legacy. And I've seen it time and time and time and time again. I've even seen it with my own eyes where they have taken the legacy, and that legacy ended up being handed down to a white woman. And this is what we're not thinking about. How are we supposed to protect our legacy and our economy? Because the first thing that we do is go and give it away to the white community, and we've forgotten who oppressed us, who colonized us, who suppresses us, and who are right now using biowarfare to try and kill us out. Yeah, the problem is that we have amnesia. Right? We have amnesia. We have short-term memories because we go into the office and we say hi and we think that they're our friends. Because they lay down with us doesn't mean that they're not still thinking behind, in the back of their mind what they're thinking about you. Some men are only getting because they know that they can have issues with the sun and they just want some melanin. So then women better mind, because they are literally being organ donors. They are being live organ donors for their melanin. Yeah, so they can continue their family lineage, and don't think it's just not happening. Because right now, melanin is more expensive than gold. Yeah? Melanin is more expensive per ounce than gold. And they're taking it in injections. Right? Why? Because of the sun. So let's not be silly about this. At the end of the day, John Henry Clark said, we have no friends. And we need to be mindful of that. People can tell, and they said, oh, Juliet, you're prejudiced, because I could never be racist. We're not in a position to be racist because we have no economical power. We do not control any educational system. We do not control any governance. We do not control any political system, any monetary system, any banks. We control nothing. And I'm not saying that we're powerless. What I am saying is that we are not powerful enough to run our own systems, to run our own continents. Right? And so we must always just, be black first. And that includes your choice of partner.